Hello, Roomies.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yes, this is Roomies Review the Movies. I am Lindsay. I'm here with Maria. Maria has been reviewing movies for the past 20 years, and I went to school for film. And we are here today because we are going back in the day to movies that we may have missed
Yes.
in our childhood and adolescence. So, this was a movie that I picked this week, and it is 1991's New Jack City.
hmm
Maria has never seen it before today.
Yeah, this was my first time seeing this movie.
Yes, yes.
Although I, of course, heard about Nino Brown and Radio Raheem and, you know,
Mm,
couldn't miss the soundtrack and stuff like that. So
yeah,
basically, if it was like in the early 90s and it was not for kids, I was not allowed to watch it. So,
right. And I was the opposite. So I definitely watched this. I didn't watch it when it came out. I'm from the Midwest, so it didn't ring bells in the
mhm.
Midwest like Boys in the Hood did, which came out the same year. But I saw it. I probably saw it like maybe in the late '90s
Mhm.
after they started playing it on TV. So yeah,
Oh, with all the
yeah,
edited like curse words and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Mickey Ficky or whatever they
Right,
used to say.
right. Mother freaker.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was my first experience, the extremely horribly edited version, and then of course I saw the real one later. But yeah, so let's get into the review.
Mm.
The movie opens up with a jarring scene of a guy being held over what looks like maybe the Brooklyn Bridge.
Well,
I'm
even before that, I really like the intro they have where it sounds like a bunch of radio news announcers or news anchors talking about rising poverty and homelessness and
Yeah.
how more people are without jobs and
Mhm.
how there was a tax cut for the rich and a tax increase
Mhm.
for the rest of us.
Right.
And just like kind of like building these macro conditions so they can
Mhm.
tell this story on a micro level,
Yeah.
which I thought was really great. But
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. The
and it could
movie
be now, honestly.
it really can. It really can. But the movie is starting in excuse me, in the mid 80s.
Mm,
So we all know what was
1986.
going. Yes. So we all know what was going on in the mid 80s. We were in the middle of Reaganomics, in the middle of the drug campaign.
Mhm.
So we were yeah, so
Saying
we
no to drugs and
yeah, it was all
dare and all
things.
that.
Right, right. So it was all kinds of things that were going on to get people addicted while saving face,
Right.
so that's pretty much what the backdrop was. But you're right, like they talk about all kinds of things in the beginning of the movie to kind of set the tone of
Mhm.
what was going on in the 80s. And then we come to this scene where this guy is being held over what maybe the Brooklyn Bridge, I'm not
Right.
sure.
Maybe the Brooklyn Bridge, I don't know. But there
Yeah,
was bridges in New York, so who knows?
right, right. So he's a white guy being held by his ankles by Bill Nunn's character. Shit, I can't remember what his name was.
That
Hold
was a very insulting ableist nickname. So
Let's see. What is his
his
name?
character has a stutter, so they call him Duh Man. Instead of the man, it's the man.
Yeah, da 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 man.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's quite a few offensive things in this movie.
Man, they're like just so mean to him about him to his face all the time.
Oh yeah, yeah. People with stutters didn't get no slack.
Oh, not at all.
Yeah, it's just what it was. So, but yeah, his name is Da 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 Man. Ain't that some shit? But but yeah, so he is holding this guy by the ankles. A lady comes up to try to stop him. Of course, there's no stopping him. And
She's just
then
her head off.
Yeah, yeah, she's just played off. But then you see Wesley Snipes' character, which is the legendary Nino Brown. And he comes up and he's just basically like, you don't have my product or my money, so it is what it is. And duh 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 man, let's go. And that man goes to sleep with the fishes. So
Mm,
yeah.
rolling in the deep.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I was it's kind of funny because I always think about it and I'm like, he probably could have survived, but I guess
No,
not. But
at a
yeah.
certain point, water, when you hit it, it's like hitting concrete.
Oh, okay.
And depending on the
It
temperature of
was
the water and like what's in the water and stuff like that.
right. Okay. Yeah, and they were really high up, so it had to be real deep
And
too.
he hit head first.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, he was a goner, and they do have a news report where they're talking about how they found him. So
Hmm. And but then they somehow related it to the drug epidemic. But I was like, how?
how did they connect them dots? Like we knew them
Yeah,
dots were
we
connected.
knew
How
because
did
they say he's unknown. So like, how did you connect the dots
right, right. Did he have crack in his pocket? Like I don't understand.
that survived?
Right, right. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe they did a drug test and he had it in the system. But
Yeah.
um,
But
but
one
yeah.
thing I wanted to say about Nino Brown is like,
Mhm.
I don't understand why he's so legendary because he is bad at his job.
I don't know. You know what? You absolutely have a point. You absolutely have a point, which we'll dive into through this review. But they don't like they allude to and they make reference of him being an excellent
Hmm.
leader, but
Hmm.
they don't show him being an excellent leader.
Mm-mm.
Maybe it's in the director's cut. I don't know. But yeah, you bring a great question to the floor. You really do. Um, and then as the movie progressed, especially at the end, it was horrible. But yeah, um, but yeah. So we have the man and Nino Brown pulling up on Alan Payne's character, which his character name is G Money.
Gerald G Money.
Yeah, so they pull up on G Money, and G Money is doing what Alan Payne loves to do, which is play basketball. That's what we known him for in the 90s. But so yeah, G Money took a bet to make a shot, and he won, and because that's what he do.
That's what he do.
But but yeah, so they pull up on him at the court. He gets in the what is it, a Jeep? Yeah. He gets in a Jeep
Hmm.
with them and he's basically telling them like, yo, we need to get up on this crack. And they call it freebase. But
Hmm.
he was just like, I guess they deal with powder. And they knew about freebase and all that kind of stuff, but they weren't really trying to touch that.
They didn't want to disrupt their business. They didn't think it was worth it at first.
Right, right. So um G Money convinces them, hey, let's go on ahead and try because this is what I've been doing on the side, and this is what the reaction is. We
Hmm.
making money hand over fist. We
They
need
go
to go
crazy.
ahead. Yes, they're going crazy for it, and they keep coming back. Because the thing with crack is that it's a real short high. So you can buy like a dime rock or a $20 rock or whatever, and you get that immediate rush. And then like 20 minutes later, you're like trying to chase that rush again. So with that, you keep coming back spending money.
Hmm.
So he's making hand over fist in one night with this crack or whatnot. And he's trying to tell them, we need to try this or what have you. And he convinces them to go on ahead and do it. So they have a meeting at a local dance spot that I believe Nino owns. And
Mm.
they have this meeting in the back. His girlfriend, which is played by Michael Michelle, um, where is her name?
Selena Thomas.
Selena Thomas, yes. So, um, her cousin, who's played by Christopher Williams. Christopher Williams is a banker and he left his job to go work for Nino Brown.
I was like,
And
I mean, his whole thing was like, well, they pay me $800 a week and you'll pay me 8,000. I'm just like, but is it worth it? I just feel like, I
yeah,
don't know, man. I wonder what his circumstances are where he was like, yeah, let me give up
but
this computer programming career at the bank where I'm making really good money for 1991.
right. But mind you, we're still in the 80s at this point.
Oh, that's
So
right. It's
it's
the 8th.
even more. Yeah, it's even more good. And Christopher Williams' character is Kareem. So I don't know. They must have been doing a damn good job um, with the organization that they already had to have him leave his job to come over there, and they're offering him that much money, you know. So
So apparently the value of $800 in 1986 is $2,251 today. So I'm getting paid $2,200 a week. I'm pretty happy. Like, so what am I disrupting my life for?
right.
I
So
mean, yeah,
yeah, so it must not have been that big of a deal to get caught in the 80s.
right. Because I
You
mean,
know.
the $8,000 is like $24,000 now. So,
Hmm. Yeah. So I
but
don't know.
I've got benefits and stuff. Like,
But with
I got
24,000
federal holidays.
mhm. Right. But with $24,000 a week, you know, you can buy your own
Yeah.
benefits.
Mm,
You know, so
yeah.
he looks like a pretty healthy guy. So
Right. And I was like, why are we doing this? He just needs
yeah.
excitement. Because he says this to Selena later on that, he was her ticket into excitement or out of a boring life or whatever. I was like, okay, we can't
Hmm.
travel the world, girl. Like, like literally.
Right. So yeah, it's it I mean, we're thinking of it in present day, like why the hell would you, do that? But back in the day, it probably was a feasible career change,
I
and
guess.
especially because he wasn't necessarily dealing directly with the drugs.
Right. He was just setting up like their computer system.
Right. So with him setting up the computer system, um,
He's not really dealing. So
he's not really dealing, and he won't have his hand on anything. And then with him not being the head, and all he's doing is setting up the computer system, he has plausible deniability. So yeah. I mean, there's pros and cons here. Yeah.
yeah, it's true.
So
It's true.
yeah. So yeah. So we have this meeting behind the club and or in the back of the club or whatnot. And that's when Nino introduces Crack to the organization and his plans to take over the Carter. Now, did you outside of Little Wayne, did you hear of the Carter before?
Probably not outside of him, no.
Okay. Okay. So, I believe,
Not outside of rap for sure.
yeah, yeah. So I believe that was a double entendre for
Mhm.
Little Wayne. But anyway, we have the Carter. The Carter is this humongous apartment building that
Mhm.
takes up a whole city block. Well, 4 city blocks actually.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it has a middle that has a courtyard. He brings out an illustration of the building and he shows them how they're going to set up their organization within the Carter. And this is how they will sell the crack. So everybody talks about how good of a plan this is and whatnot. And then we get a montage of them setting up the plan or setting the plan in motion in the Carter. And when I tell you that montage was pretty freaking crazy, it was pretty freaking crazy
Mm.
because they did not care who they killed to take over these apartments. It was a wrap. They were killing fathers in their homes. They was busting in on grandmas and their
For no
grandchildren.
reason.
Yeah, like they were taking over literally. And it's hundreds of apartment buildings in this place. So it ain't no telling how many people they put out if they didn't get with the program. So um
And to me, it honestly seems like because he's like, we can do our production and keep
mhm.
our money all in the same place. I'm like, this doesn't sound smart because
Yeah, no,
you're doing an illicit business. You want everything in one place. That's gonna be real easy to burn it all down.
yeah, right. With the idea of them blowing the place up, I can see where you would be like, yeah, why would you keep everything in one place? But as big as the Carter is, I think like blowing up where the product is won't necessarily affect where the money is. It
Yeah, but
can,
if anybody wants to get at you, they know where to get you, where they can get everything. They can get all of your product and all of your money in one convenient place. So it's just like,
yeah,
I don't know that we
yeah,
should.
right. I get where you're coming from, and to a certain extent, that does make sense. But then I can also see his mindset as well because he put out these situations in motion so that he wouldn't get got, quote unquote.
Well,
Excuse
to
me.
me, it just kind of speaks to his character as we see as the movie goes on. Like he's not that strategic, he's not that smart, but he likes the convenience.
Yeah, yeah. And as long as you're the smartest person in the room, right?
Right. Or as long as everybody's afraid of you, which is his leadership plan.
Yeah. Then there's that too.
Right.
So, so on the side, we also have Ice T's character. So Ice T is a detective, and he is trying to make a deal, and he's dealing with Pookie, which is
Played by
Chris
Chris
Rock.
Rock.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Benny Pookie Robinson. See, I did not hear all of these names, I swear. But all right.
I think they said his name at his funeral.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, and then Ice T's character is Scotty.
Scotty
So
Appleton, which is not the name I expected.
I can see Scotty, but not Appleton.
I thought he was gonna be because he was like because at one point they're discussing these two detectives are gonna put together for this because they're like expendable basically. And so
Mhm.
they're like, yeah, we're gonna get Nick Peretti and Scotty Appleton. I was like, oh well, Ice-T has to be Nick.
Yeah.
What?
Right. Of the two names, right.
Right.
So yeah, so he's doing this deal with this crackhead or whatever, and yeah, and Pookie robs him.
Like
And,
obviously, I
yeah,
was like,
because
what are
you
you
just
doing?
showed a crackhead a whole gym bag full of cash, and you think that he wasn't gonna touch it?
What? I did not understand because when he's like, show me the money, and he was going, and he went to do it. I was like, you really gonna do that? We're just going to
Right.
rob you. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. Right. Like that was stupid. So yeah. So Pookie robs him, starts running. This is in broad daylight, and he is out of there, and he is running after him, of course. He ends up getting a bike,
Mhm.
and he starts pedaling while Scotty is still running after him. He ends up going downstairs and all kinds of stuff. When
A
he went
lot of
down,
stairs.
yeah, when he went down,
That stunt double was getting the work. Like,
okay, okay, so yeah, they have this whole chase or whatever. Then they end up at this basketball court, and this is when Scotty finally decides to shoot him. So he shoots him in the ankle, and he goes down. Money everywhere, people everywhere. They're grabbing for the gun. So now Scotty then pulled the gun out on the crowd, and, and people, cops pull up and they try to arrest him because Scotty's a detective.
That's
He's in
fast.
plain clothes.
Hmm.
And
I love how the people who are around come up and they're like, "Oh, you're really kicking his ass, man," or something like that, right?
mhm.
At the same time, they're grabbing like all the cash that had spilled out of
Right,
the bag.
right, right. Because at the end of the day, this is
I
cash.
love
So,
it. Right? Exactly.
so yeah, so we have this scene or whatever, and Pookie, goes on and you know, with his gunshot wound and what have you. And so then we have like months down the line where Pookie ends up going to a turkey giveaway that Nino Brown had put on at the Carter because he then took over and now he's like the best thing walking. He's got these people.
Seriously, his
Yeah.
whole I have problems with his leadership stuff. Like
Okay.
honestly, like because like you want to go in and take over, right?
Hmm.
But now you're out here giving out turkeys. Why didn't you give out turkeys in the first place? Get
You know,
everybody on your side, and
right,
then you take over.
right, because you catch more flies with honey than shit.
Because then people are gonna be like, "Well, I know what he does, but he keep me and my family fed, so you
Right,
know."
right. Um, yeah. Some people rule with an iron fist. Some people rule, with kindness, and that's it's
It's
kind
just,
of
it's
what he
just, it's
was
not even
trying.
about kindness to me. It's about just playing it smart.
Yeah, yeah. But it's kind of like what they was trying to portray, but it just didn't go over too well.
He
Because
did it
even
all
in that,
wrong.
he was mean.
Yes.
So I don't know, but yeah, yeah, because you don't, because there's a couple of times where you have the turkey drive and then you have somebody that mentioned what he's done, and then you
Hmm.
do see him with kids being nice and whatnot, but
Was he being nice
you,
or was he using those kids as runners? I was not sure.
well, at the wedding he was being nice.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Who was getting anyway? Let's get.
Yeah, we'll get to that, but
Okay.
but yeah, yeah, like you have like a couple of instances, but they're just like blips. So when you talk about this movie and you talk about Nino Brown and why he would be considered a legend and whatnot, it's not because of his nice ways. Like
No.
he's memorable because of the evil shit.
Oh
And
yeah.
he's not even like he's not on diabolical level or anything like that. Because like you said, he's not playing it that smart, to be diabolical. But I mean, he is mean.
He's a narcissist.
That too.
Hmm.
That too. So yeah. So we have this turkey drop or whatever after he got the Carter rolling and what have you. And at the turkey drive, Pookie is a straight up crackhead. Like he's like your stereotypical crackhead at this point. And at the turkey drive, he looks trifling disgusting. You can tell he smells through the TV.
Like
And
lips all white, teeth look
yes,
horrible.
yes, like this was Tyrone Bigum's inspiration
For
type,
real.
you
100%.
know. Yes,
Absolutely.
yes. Um, so yeah, he cuts everybody, because he wants some food and whatnot. And Nino is there, handing out the food and what have you, and they have an interaction. He's talking shit about him, about his appearance and what have you. But he told him, hey, if you get yourself cleaned up, I might have a job for you. So he goes on with his food and whatnot because their interaction was just so like that he was just like, "What do you want here? Just get this man a plate. Do you want a turkey? Here." And he gave him a whole turkey.
And he immediately
So
tried to sell the
he
turkey.
tried to sell the turkey. Right. So he goes back to
Yeah, because he's like, hey, that's the kid I shot.
right, right. So he goes back to where he smokes his crack and whatnot with the girl that he's been interacting with. And they're eating the food and what have you. Well, she was eating it. And They ended up getting into it. When they get into it, a random lady that is not there smoking crack, tries to intervene along with Scotty trying to intervene because, of course, Scotty pointed him out at the turkey job and started following them.
Yeah, they're
And
fighting over the turkey bones.
yes, they're fighting over the turkey bones. Him and the prom queen
She was the
were
prom
fighting
queen.
over. Yeah, they were fighting. So he pulls Pookie off of the lady and pulls him to the side. And so Pookie recognizes him and was like, "This is the cop that shot me." Blah, blah, blah. So he had to, like, cover his mouth,
He's
put a gun to him.
he's 5
Yeah. Yeah. So he put a gun to him and covered his mouth and told him, "Shut up." So, so yeah. So what he ended up doing was getting Pookie clean. He put him into rehab.
Yeah,
And
there's this whole getting clean montage.
yeah, yeah. He really got clean. He stayed with him like he really cared.
And he
Oh,
didn't.
oh wow, right. Oh wow, he had a plan for him,
Hmm.
and his plan was to put him undercover in the Carter. So he gets clean and whatnot.
Got him clean just to put him back
Put
in
him
the
back.
spot he was in that got him all messed up.
Right now, mind you, this plan did not go. It was not just greenlit. He did have a lot of fight to put him in that position because
Yeah.
of exactly what you said. Why would you put a crackhead at the scene of abundance, unlimited amount of crack? That doesn't make any sense. But nonetheless, ended up happening. And he started working for the Carter. I think first he was on lookout, and then they moved him to work the product. Now that's their fault.
That is their fault. They knew Pookie had been on that stuff before.
Right, right. Why? So it's
Why would
not
you do
just,
that?
it's not just Scotty's fault. It's CMB fault as well because this was the dumbest idea.
Really
Dumbest
just,
idea.
I don't
You
know
know.
what people were thinking. Like,
Right. Right. It was dumb. It was so dumb. More specifically, G Money. G Money was the one that really was like, "Hey, go work the product." So he
so
went to go
crazy.
work the product, and yeah, he ended
Like,
up
this is not working out for anybody. Like, I
no,
just, like,
no,
first of all, not only does he have this, he's facing like his strongest temptation as part of his job, but like, I don't really like this is like his first time out of rehab and everything like that. Like
yes,
it takes people like maybe 6 or more times before they're really able to maintain sobriety. And you put
right,
him right back with it. Like nobody cares about Pookie.
no, no. He don't care about himself because he should have known to. Because
He wanted to be a value. He wanted to show thanks and appreciation. And he thought this was the way to do it to help them take down Nino.
and I get that, but
Which should have just shown them that he was not ready for this.
right, right. But it ain't like we talking about some young impressionable kid. We're talking about an adult too. And I get
I
that he has
Yeah.
an addiction, and I get he wants to help. I get he wants to help take Nino down. But even if he were to do all that, he should have just stayed lookout. He should have told G Money like, "Hey, I'm cool on working the product. Let me just stay lookout," or something like that.
But
Like
the
it has to be some
uh,
responsibility put on him too.
the only thing is like Scotty like got him clean, did all this stuff, all this work and time, and to put him back, like, come on. I
Hmm.
don't. To me, it's like not. It doesn't even matter too much what Pookie says because he can't really go in there without them anyway.
Yeah,
So if they were to be like, no, 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 you need to focus on your sobriety. Let's get you a job at McDonald's or something. Like,
yeah. But that
like
that they were,
I mean,
yeah.
he is an adult. He's still, his first time out of rehab and everything. This is not a smart move for anybody to make. Nobody should have
It
approved
wasn't a
this.
smart idea in the first place.
Because even with Nino's crew, they know not only like, come on, like
Exactly.
I don't know why
Like
anybody thought
why?
this was a good move.
right. Like, why do y'all think that this was appropriate? Like, nothing about this was appropriate. But here we are.
Yeah. We need the movie to happen.
Right, right. Because if anybody was smart, we wouldn't have a movie. So,
That's true.
so yeah, he's working the product, and they the detectives have a brilliant idea because they feel like we're not getting enough, and you need to wear a wire. So they wire him up. He has a belt that has a camera on it, and then he has a wire up under his shirt. Which is so wild because in the product room, they all wore white and the women had to be topless.
Everybody was naked.
Yeah, but Pookie.
Except for him.
Yeah, because not only did Pookie have on a button up, he had on an undershirt with pants with a belt.
Very weird that you would let him do that.
Right, right.
Why is he the only one who gets to remain dressed? What is that?
Yeah. So I always was like, but why is he in there in the first place with clothes on? Not that we want to see Chris Rock naked, but
This is inconsistent and silly.
yeah, yeah, it didn't make any sense.
Mm-mm.
So so he steals Rock and he starts acting like he's on some shit. And they're watching this remotely and they're like, what's the hell is going on with your boy? And of course
Because he's been fighting his demons since he's back in the product room. Like you
right.
see him with like crack pipes and stuff, and you're like, why are you next to that? Like, but of course
Right.
he works there all the time.
Right.
And
Right.
then Scotty had like also like put a bunch of pressure on him and guilt because he's like one of you. He's like he blames apparently all crack addicts because his mother was killed by a crack addict, so everybody has to pay, I guess.
Yeah.
And so he says all this to Pookie. He was very vulnerable. He's in a very vulnerable point.
Yeah.
And that's when things start falling apart. I was like, why would you put all that pressure and guilt on this dude?
Yeah.
You know what he's up against right now.
Right. Extreme pressure. Extreme pressure from he's fighting it from every angle, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you low key start to feel bad for Pookie.
Especially when you're the person who's like trying to help get him clean and all this stuff, supposedly, right? And then you
Right.
say all that to him, like, oh, so all that work was for nothing. Might as
Mm-hmm.
well just go ahead and get back at it.
Right, right. So yeah. So Scotty knows what is going on, but of course he doesn't want to believe what he's seeing. And he's just like, let's just watch and see what happens. Yeah, and they watch and see that
Yes,
he has found out because again, he's acting like he's on drugs.
He
Around
broke the number one
drugs.
crack commandment.
Right. Don't get
Don't
high
get high
on
on your
supply.
own supply.
Yeah. So so he acts like, he acts like a crackhead around crack dealers. What are they supposed to think? so so they open up his shirt, see the wire, see that it's connected to his belt buckle, and they're like, blow the Carter and kill him. And why? This was the part that killed me. Why would G Money look dead into the camera on that belt and say, we about to kill Pookie and blow the Carter and then smash the belt buckle? I'm like, they have it right there. The fact that G Money never got arrested for his murder was
crazy.
crazy.
Right? Because he's literally admitted to like premeditating, like
yes, that never sat right with me. I'm like,
I can only imagine like he gave up something, but I like what it still doesn't make any sense.
They never talked to him. They never tried to pick who they had who they wanted to get was Nino. They didn't give a fuck
Mhm.
about getting nobody else. They just wanted Nino. You know what I'm saying? Like the head of the whole organization could have legit been somebody else, but who they wanted was Nino, you know? So yeah. So that happens or whatever. And Pookie's like, man, Scotty, they tried to kill me, man. Come save me, man. That was
Yeah.
sad. That was a little
Mhm.
sad.
Yeah.
So, they rushed in, they rushed the Carter. But again, the Carter is 4 city blocks. So yeah, they don't make it in time.
No.
So G Money, goes and gets all the the hard drives from the computers. No, not the hard drives, the hard
Yeah,
disks.
well, he's trying to get the diskettes out of the computers, but they're all
Yeah.
gone.
No, he gets them out. G Money does. He
Oh,
gets
G
them.
Money gets out. Oh,
Yeah.
yes, yes. When they
Yeah,
come
he
back
gets them all
later, they
out.
try and get him. Yeah.
Right.
And we didn't talk about like this whole setup they have for the building. Like you have to have a key card to get in.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. Okay, so
it's wild.
yeah. The whole operation is, yes, you do have to have a key card. They scan it. You go to one area and you're escorted by
Mhm.
armed guards. So you go to one area, they scan your key card, and you pay there. They have a money chute like it's a bank.
Yes.
And
One of those
then
vacuum tubes.
yes.
I thought
So
that was smart though. I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah, because you can send the money back and the drugs back up. I thought that was smart.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, so you have the money part, and then you go to another part where you pick up your drugs. Then you go wherever you want to go, or you go to
Or you can
what is
stay in the
it? The
courtyard,
Enterprise. You
and they
go to
call
the
it the
Enterprise.
Enterprise
Yes, you go to the
because they're
Enterprise.
Trekkies. I was like,
Yeah,
what?
right. They beam you up. So the
I
Enterprise
was
is
like, these
a
these
big
these
ass
these drug
room.
dealers and addicts are a bunch of nerds.
Right.
I
Right.
love it.
They got it. They got
I
to
love it.
take mind off of it somehow.
No, that was a lot. I was like, the Enterprise. Why would that? Wow, really? Start? Wow, to boldly go in there and say, okay, all right.
Yeah. Right. Right. So yeah. So the Enterprise is this big old, dimly lit room. If
I think
lit
it's
at all.
just the courtyard.
I thought it was a room, like the
Mm-mm.
basement.
It looked like the courtyard to me, but I don't know. Maybe there's
Mhm.
a ton of rooms in that place.
Yeah. Right. So this place they go there and they can smoke. Like you can buy your pipes there, and you can just sit there and get high and smoke up all you want. Or like I said, you can leave with your product and go home and smoke up all you want. But yeah. And they have this place rolling 24/7.
Ton of people in there.
Yeah. Yeah. They showed one scene where a lady was in there with her son, and that was pretty bad. That was pretty
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
But
Because somebody did pick up the kid, and I was like, where did that child come from?
mhm. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, that was pretty realistic. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
well, addicts have children, so
Yeah. And they was doing that shit in front of them.
that's what
Um,
happens.
yeah. So yeah,
But
so
let's
yeah.
see. Hold on, because you were talking about them going into the crack house, like when the NYPD comes over there,
Hmm?
right before the NYPD busts them.
Oh yeah.
But what about this wedding?
That's later.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. You really want to get to this way?
No, I have questions.
There you go, telling me no, I can't.
Yes, because we have Keith Sweats in this, and
Hmm.
also Flavor Flav, who's like the
Yeah,
DJ at the nightclub.
yeah. Well, not the
And
DJ.
they have some really the MC, my bad, that's
Yeah,
right, the MC. And
he does a
they
couple.
do have some really cool like dance scenes, and, like
Hmm.
dancers in the nightclub. I did enjoy
Hmm.
seeing those and like the
Yeah,
outfits and stuff.
right. It was kind of house party esque.
Mm-hmm.
The dancing and stuff like that, and the clothes and whatnot, which makes sense. It was the time. But let me see if you caught this. So when they did the montage of them building the Carter, and they were playing the money song, or living just
Just
enough.
enough. Oh yeah, the dudes outside singing it. Yeah.
Okay, so the first set of dudes, that was Troop.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
You know who Troop is. All I do is think of
Oh,
you
okay. Yes.
day
Yes.
and night. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so the first set of dudes was Troop. The second set of dudes was Levert.
Oh, Levert Brothers.
Yeah, and the cousin, right?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
They kind of looked familiar to me, but I was like, it was also dark, so I was like, I'm not
Right,
sure
right,
who
right.
these
It was
people are.
dark, and it was because it was five in the beginning, and then
Yeah,
when the song ended, it was
it
three.
was
So
3.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then the OJ's is the original of that song. So
Oh yes,
yeah,
yes.
so yeah, um, yeah. So that was super
And I was
cool.
like, they're way too well dressed to be addicts out here. So
No, 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 they weren't addicts. They weren't addicts. So yeah, yeah. It was Troop and Levert, and then the main song for the movie is the Queen Latifah song
hmm
with. Well, I saw her performing with the OJ's, so I don't know if it's
Oh,
featuring the
cool.
OJ's or if it's featuring Levert.
Mm.
But yeah, I saw her performing with the OJ's. So back then.
I oh back then I did really like that scene because it does like a kind of before and after,
Hmm.
like what the buildings look like before Nino gets there and what they look like after. So I thought that was
Hmm.
a really cool way to do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It really was. It really was. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, so fast forward back to yeah, Pookie getting found out. They're blowing up the Carter. They throw the gasoline on it and all this type of stuff. So the detectives come in, guns a blazing, and they are trying to, find Pookie before he's killed. But I mean,
They're too late.
so much time has lapsed. He's
It's way too
good
late.
dead,
Yeah.
right? So unfortunately, they do find Pookie unalived, and
With the
he,
bomb strapped to him.
yeah, he is strapped because their plan is to literally blow this place up. They already put gasoline everywhere. They already lit all kinds of matches, so it's fires all over the place. Um, and then they have about like 30 seconds by the time that they find Pookie to stop the Carter from literally blowing up. They stop it within 2 seconds. So yeah. Um, excuse me. So yeah, Pookie's gone. They have a funeral.
R.I.P.
For him. Yeah, R.I.P. to Pookie. They do have a funeral for him. Yeah, and
Yeah, I wonder who like paid for the funeral.
I always thought Scotty paid for it. I
Yeah,
don't know why I
he
think
should
that.
have because he's responsible. Anyway.
Right, right, exactly. Yeah, I think it was more guilt than anything because I feel like he had guilt from shooting him too.
Well, one thing is like shooting him definitely led him down the path of addiction.
I think he was
Because
already there. I just think it got
well,
worse.
well, yeah, he was on his way, but it definitely got worse once he was shot. And then
Yeah,
you rehabbed him only to get him, relapsing and then killed. So maybe you should pay for his funeral.
yeah, just a dollar or two, you know.
Something.
Right, right. So yeah. So yeah. So then G Money had to make that call to Nino about the Carter having to be blown up. Let's step back for a minute because
Mhm.
one of the times that we were at the club and they were celebrating their success and what have you, there was a young lady there who had the most horrible wig I have ever seen on a lady that was supposed to be a movie vixen.
Yeah, I
But
don't know what they were doing with her styling. I don't know.
and I never understood it. Never, even back when I saw it. the first time. I was like,
And
what
this
are
is
the
this is
fans doing?
yeah, like the
That
wig
was
was
never a thing.
shiny. It had movement, but was also somehow stiff. I don't know. It was not a
Yeah.
good idea.
Yeah. It was like they put real grease on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but yeah.
Oh yeah, that girl. And like the thing is, like in that right before we see her, there's this scene between Nino and G Money, and Nino's like, we're family and everything. Like,
Mhm.
I love you.
DMB.
It's
Am I
real.
my brother's keeper?
Right. I'm my brother's keeper. Da, da, da. And it's really nice and touching or whatever. Never trust anybody who's paying you when they say they're your family because they're not.
Yeah. Yeah. So so yeah, they are, they're in the club celebrating and whatnot. And Nino sees this lady at the bar with the horrible wig. And she's, just dancing. And he is like mesmerized. Mind you, he has a woman
Mm-hmm.
who is there,
Mm-hmm.
but he is mesmerized
Not
by
next to him, right next to him.
right. And so he recognizes the lady. The lady was someone that G Money had dealings with. And so he asked G Money about her, and he was just like, yeah, I hit her once, but I haven't got to know her yet. I need to spend some more time to get to know her. Wow. But nonetheless, he was like, all right. And he's still thinking about the girl as he's walking off or whatever. But then they have a little double date encounter after. And hmm, G Money is like all over the girl in
Because this is
front
supposed to
of
be his
him.
girl.
Yeah. Well, no, not at this point. Not this was that same night.
No, but he's very much like this is this girl that I'm seeing or a little bit, whatever.
Yeah,
We have a
yeah,
thing.
he's all over.
Yeah,
And
it's kind of yeah. But Nino immediately is like, well, I want that.
oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, and Nino is sitting right there with his woman watching G Money be all over this girl. However, the girl is most definitely coming on to Nino.
Mm-hmm.
Most
She watching Nino.
definitely, yes. And she's rubbing on him. He stops her, of course, but she tried it. Then she got up, started taking her clothes off, talking about Nino needs a son, and
You need a
then
son to help run your empire or whatever. I was like, girl, what?
right, and it comes out that Nino's girlfriend has fertility issues, and Nino told G Money, and G Money told the girl. So the girl says it out loud that you need a son, and is pretty much offering herself to you.
Yeah,
Of course,
absolutely.
that pisses off Nino's girlfriend. She walks away,
Heck yeah,
and
she's right there.
right,
Like,
right.
wow.
She made a little slick comment to her, or whatever, but she ended up walking away, and the girl is just up, just dancing, in her underwear, and
It's a
so
nice set.
it is a nice set. It is a
Mm-hmm.
nice set, but it just just weird that you just randomly start taking your clothes off in front of everybody and just dance. But what else?
Like this is this type of party. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
that's about to be. So
Okay.
yeah, so yeah, Nino goes back. After G Money told him he need to go back there and handle his girlfriend because this is not a good situation.
Mm-mm.
So they go back there. They have their argument. He comes back out and is um watching G Money and the girl about to have sex. Yeah, he wants the girl. So fast forward to the Carter blowing up and G Money having to call Nino to tell him. Well, Nino's in bed with the girl that G Money was with.
Mm-hmm. And she answers the
And
phone,
she answers
which
the
is
phone.
wild to me.
Right. Why would you
every
let her
time this
answer the
every time
phone?
this happens in any movie, I'm like, I don't understand why are other people answering your phone. I don't
Right.
get it.
Right. And you know that you ain't supposed to be with him. That'd be the
She didn't
killer
care.
part.
She never cared about that. She was
No.
there to get with Nino, period.
Right. And he didn't give a care. He didn't give a care either. So yeah. Because at the end of the day, you still got your girlfriend. What if she would have been the one that called? Like nobody cared. Period. Nobody
Nobody.
cared. So yeah, she answers the phone. Of course, it's G Money. I knew I should have left your skis in that. Like, it's so funny hearing them say skeezer because I ain't heard that.
Nobody says that
Nobody says it.
anymore.
Like, I ain't heard that word in like 25
A
years.
long time. Right.
I'm like, we need to bring skeezer back. You skeezer. So anyway, um, she hands the phone over to Nino, and G Money tells him, hey, we had to blow up the Carter. So of course that annoys Nino. He doesn't want to have sex anymore.
Because he was he was saying it was like $1 million a week,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
insane.
They came up. They came up. So, but like I said, when I explained from what I read how the operation with crack works, from all the documentaries and books I've read on the crack epidemic, that you get high and you want to keep chasing that high, but the high only lasts like 20 minutes. So you want to keep chasing that high. So you keep going back, getting more rock. You know what I'm saying? So,
and because it's crack cocaine is much cheaper than cocaine.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, so yeah. So yeah, he's upset. He's a little perturbed, which understandably so. G Money is as well. Yeah, G Money is as well, and G Money wants to take the edge off, so he starts smoking. Yeah,
breaking that first. I was like, when did the 10 crack commandments come out? Because y'all need help.
shit,
Just breaking them.
Shit, Biggie's 10 crack commandments came out in 97.
Oh, so they didn't know about it, I guess.
I feel like they did and
Yeah,
didn't.
I feel like they should.
Yeah. Because fuck it, I had a long day. My dog died. I had to blow up the Carter. I need a rock. So. But but yeah, so
I'm gonna unwind with a crack rock. Please no. Like what?
Of all things, see this little sidebar. This is the thing I don't understand about 2024. Why do we still have crackheads?
Because it's cheap.
But if you have seen what crack has done since the 80s, why don't you choose another drug?
Well, here's the thing. Like, so crack, I can at least understand because it gets you high, right? I had the same question, but about bath salts, because bath salts just seems to make people angry and like try to like beat each other and bite off faces and stuff. Like, what are you doing? It doesn't seem pleasant, right? In any kind of way. But somebody was like, sometimes you just want to feel different. Different from however you're feeling right now. So even if that's biting off somebody's face, I guess. But like, I was like, oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, I can understand wanting to feel different.
Yeah. I definitely get wanting to feel different.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why we are touching crack still. Like, it is
especially with weed being legal in so many states.
But I can understand why weed is not enough for some people too. You know what I'm saying? Like, weed is where I draw the line. But I can understand if the line is not drawn at weed, So what I don't understand is if you have seen what the crack epidemic has done to the community.
But not everybody has.
Years. But I feel like it's widely known, even if you
I feel like it's not. It's especially like not today. I feel like people have kind of forgotten about it. And it's not like something they teach about in school,
I can see you not being taught about it at school, but do you feel like it'll make a comeback like how it did in the 80s?
No, because mostly it's a lot of like ugh, opioid.
Opi-
I'm not saying it right.
Opiate.
Use. Yeah, opiate use.
Yeah,
Opioid. There
there you go.
we go.
But yeah, I mean, but I'm
And we
just.
have a lot of like, the Sacklers to thank for that. So they're
Hmm.
this big, pharmaceutical family or whatever, and they pushed opioid and opiates legally through doctors, and so you got a lot of people who are in pain. They got prescribed those opiates, and for whatever reason, maybe they can't get it anymore, and so you see a lot of people like doing opioids and heroin or whatever on the
Yeah.
street. So I feel like that's more prominent these days.
Okay. I do see that being more prominent, but I just it's just so wild to me when you see somebody that's like 20 something years old on crack, and it's like,
Oh, well, if they're 20 something years old, they definitely don't know about the epidemic. So,
yeah, yeah, they wouldn't know about it firsthand, but
mm-mm.
I feel like the stigma, the negative stigma about what crack did is is out there. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But it's just wild to me because I just feel like crack is something that we would stay away from at this point.
I
Because
would
crack,
hope.
crack. But
As
I mean, just that statement alone,
yeah,
you know. Let me see why crack is so whack. Like, no, I don't.
I'm
I,
good.
yeah, I'm good. But anyway,
And then
back.
like a lot of drugs, sometimes it'll be, oh yeah, try this. It's free.
Mhm.
And they always say like your first high is your best high, and that's the thing people are
Yes,
chasing. So
that's what they're chasing. That's what they're chasing. And then on top of that, I heard, because of course I don't know firsthand, but I heard that it's a really big rush. It's like the best thing ever.
that's what
You
I've heard. I'm not
know? So
willing to find out though. So
I don't want no parts of that.
I'm fine.
No parts of
Yeah,
that.
I'm good.
So I'll stick to the rivers and lakes that I'm used to.
But I'm also like fortunate to like not have that kind of thing in my genetics anyway. Um
What addictive personality?
yeah, for me, like definitely people in my family have had dealt with addiction.
Hmm.
Um but you know, it can be hard based on your genetics.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
people will get addicted like immediately and some people don't. And it just kind of 'cause there's this whole thing, I don't know if you know, with the things with cocaine or heroin, I can't remember, but, like, if you have ADHD, I believe it's heroin, I can't remember which one it is, but anyway, one of
Mhm.
those, it won't affect you like it will other people. So when you go in for your evaluation for ADHD, they'll ask you about it, because if you have ADHD and you do, like, methamphetamines or whatever drug it is, I cannot remember, please don't quote me, um, it'll just make you focused and give you clarity. You don't get the high and, like, you don't start partying around and everything like that. And, like, people, like, have experienced this. They're like, "I just feel very clear, like, my head is quiet and I can get things done now, like, but everybody else seems to be having a really great time partying, like, what's wrong with me?"
Right. Like I want to be like y'all, but
Mhm.
now I'm normal.
But that also is like, wow, suddenly, like, things are like, wow,
Hmm. Right. I
And,
can see clearly now.
mhm,
The reason.
mhm,
Wow, I didn't know that.
mhm.
Well, all right. I guess that would be a reason to smoke crack if you got ADHD. I don't know.
No. No, no. Don't do that.
Right. Crack is still whack.
Still whack.
Drugs are bad, okay? So yeah. So yeah, where we at? The oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so so yeah, so they saved the Carter from being blown up. Pookie gets buried. Did say that. So at the funeral, Mario Van Peebles' character, which is he is their the detectives boss, whatever that is.
He's the boss
Stone.
detective.
Yeah, is that what I know he has like an official title. I just don't know what it is.
No,
But
it just says Detective Stone. So
yeah,
I get
yeah,
maybe he's just leading the case or something. I don't know.
yeah, or maybe lead detective.
Yeah,
Lead detective. That's probably what it
that
is.
sounds right.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's Stone. He pretty much tells them that people are on his ass about this case.
Hmm.
Because all the money that they just wasted on man hours, on Pookie, on all this type of stuff, and they ain't got nothing. So they need to figure out a plan and a plan quickly. Um Scotty has the plan that he will go in and go undercover with the organization. Now, another side that we didn't mention was that um, before they started this crack organization, when they were dealing with the other drugs, they were dealing with the Italians.
Yes,
And when they started the crack business or the crack entity of their business,
the crack wing.
the yeah, the crack wing, the the Italians came to them and was just like, we don't appreciate you having this side business basically, and you're basically cutting us out. And we're gonna have to renegotiate our percentage. And Nino pretty much gave his ass to kiss.
Hmm.
Um, they came back and it was not conducive to anybody when they came back. so, So yeah, so they have this issue going on with the Italians as well. So yeah, so he's making enemies and becoming like the richest man in the drug game in New York, the biggest city in the country.
New
So
Jack City.
New Jack City. Um, so yeah, so he has this issue with the Italians. He just had to blow up the Carter, um, and now they are trying to do another deal. And so Scotty goes to G Money to try to be a part of CMB. G Money is a little
Did we
erratic.
ever find out what CMB stands for?
Cash Money Brothers.
Oh, wow. I
Yeah,
missed that. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, so he goes through G Money. G Money is acting a little erratic now because now he's smoking the
He's
glass stick. So yeah. Um,
wow. Yeah.
yeah, it's funny how they have all these names for these things, but yeah. So, but yeah, but he lets them in, and then he starts to get close to Nino. Um, one position that he held was like being like front security, I guess,
Yeah,
and
he
at
was definitely working security.
yeah, and it was at his club. In the daytime, they had a particular scene where they were having a meeting. There were kids there, and
Oh,
he was
was
being
that at the club? I was wondering. Okay, yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So there were kids there or whatnot, and they were being nice to the kids and what have you. And this man who I assume he was a resident of the Carter. He did not like Nino at all. He did not. He knew
Mm-mm.
what he was about. He did not like the shit at all. So he confronted him at the club. And he was going to shoot him at the club. And of course, he
Was he going to shoot him or was he going to stab him? I couldn't tell if he had pulled a gun
he
or a
pulled a gun
knife.
out. Yeah, he
Okay,
pulled a gun out. Which I'm surprised that they didn't kill him right there.
me too. But
You
I was
know,
like, maybe they didn't want to kill him in front of all these children.
the
I was,
children.
I
Yeah.
was surprised they didn't just like take him out to the back. You know what I mean?
Right, right. I mean, you are pulling a gun out on him, and he's supposed to be the toughest man in the city. Why is he not dead? You know,
He didn't
because
consider him a
why do
threat.
you care? Like, what is it about him that you care enough to keep him alive? Like, is he a
Right.
family member? You know what I'm saying? Like, is this your long lost father?
He was
Like,
just like, oh, get lost, old man.
right, right. And they just kicked him out. Um, so yeah, it was crazy. But there was a person that was sitting there at the table with him, and that person shows up at the wedding. That person is the preacher. And the preacher um is the father of the bride.
Who is
So
getting married?
that's who was getting married. The preacher's
Who?
daughter and the man.
But
They were
who
getting
are
married.
these people?
It was the preacher's daughter and her husband. The preacher was
Okay.
sitting was at a meeting with Nino. So I don't know if the preacher was getting kickbacks to the church from him or
Mhm.
what. But because I mean they didn't show us the meeting. But yeah, that's what the connection was. And then on top of that, the wedding was at Nino's house or estate. So
Mhm.
his daughter, who he married, got married at this beautiful estate that's Nino's house.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the connection there. So, yeah, so we have this wedding. And by this time we have Scotty pretty much moved up in the organization. He's at the point where he's Nino's right hand man. So we have this beautiful wedding. We have Keith Sweat again. He performs at the wedding.
Mhm.
And he um at the end of the wedding, when everybody's like cleaning up and getting ready to go and what have you, there's this van that pulls up. They look like caterers at glimpse. At first glimpse, they look like caterers. And then Nino recognizes one of the guys. And he's like, this is a setup. We about to get killed. As soon as he said that, that's when everybody that was in that van pulled out these big ass guns and got to shooting.
Mhm.
And everybody on CMB or in CMB rather shot back. So it was
Mhm.
a big old shootout. People were killed in the process. Uh, yeah, one part that was really messed up was that there was a little girl that looked like she may have been like the flower girl,
Mhm.
and Nino picked her up and used her as a shield. He definitely did.
Wild. Like
I
just
hate seeing that. Yeah. Because I just want to tell myself like that could not have been what it was, but it's most
that is
definitely what it was.
absolutely what it was.
It's most
That's
definitely what it was.
absolutely what it was. Because at first I
Yeah,
was like, is he picking her up to move her like kind of out of the way? But then he like held her up.
he held her up and
I
then
was
put
like,
her down next to her father that just got killed and ran. And it was Scotty that ran out in the crossfire to grab her and take her away. So yeah, it was pretty
I was
bad.
like,
So then
oh, there is no redemption for him, like at
yeah,
all.
yeah. None whatsoever. So then we also have Keisha, who I haven't talked about yet. Keisha is played by Vanessa Williams. And
She's Wikipedia has her listed as the gun mole. So I guess she was getting the
yeah,
weapons at the
because
beginning.
she was the hardest one out the clique. She was the one that was shooting people left and right when they was taking over the Carter. So she was the one that she had that most famous quote, "Rockabye baby."
Right.
No, you've heard that.
Yeah.
So yeah, she comes she's in, of course, this gunfight, and she comes out with this gun and starts shooting up the place, but then she also got shot up as well. So we lost
Mhm.
Keisha in this
Lost Keisha,
gunfight.
the only girl boss.
Yes, yes. So yeah, the toughest one out of all of them. So yeah. There was one point in this gunfight where Scotty got most killed. G Money looked like it was, or Nino, one of them. He almost killed one of them, but then he
They
changed.
didn't.
Yeah. One of one of the reasons why he would have done it if he did go ahead and kill them was because of the fact that there was a conversation between him and Nino. And Nino told him pretty much how he got into the world. And it was he had to prove himself and he had to kill a random person. Well, the person that he randomly killed was Scotty's mom.
Mm-hmm.
And
So Scotty grew up to become a cop to kill Nino.
right, right. But he always was under the impression that it was a crackhead that killed him.
Yeah.
But when Nino told this story, he told how he got extremely high in order to even do it.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes sense why he was told it was a crackhead.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So and he could not break cover. He had to save face, being
Mm-hmm.
told that this is the man, and the
That
way
killed
that
his
he's
mom.
telling the story, right? And the way that he's telling the story, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like this is the point. This is the reason why my mom is dead because you had to prove
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Like that's crazy. So so yeah, we have that. Him fighting that or whatever, and still trying to stay undercover. So yeah, so we have this whole wedding scene. And then it ends because the Italians eventually drive off. But yeah,
Still shooting.
still shooting. And so yeah, we Nino is untouched. Nino is assessing what happened and whatnot, and now he's like really pissed because they didn't came to his house now. Like it's a thing. Now,
It's personal.
right, and that's what he always said. It's never personal; it's always business. Now, I will go back a step because there is a very iconic scene that I did not discuss. After the Carter got blown up, Nino calls a meeting with everyone, and everybody was dressed in black. And he pretty much wanted to know what the hell happened. In the
I know
process,
he did.
in the process of this meeting, he stabs Kareem in the hand.
In the hand.
Yeah,
I was like, he's the programmer.
right.
What are you doing?
He didn't want it. He didn't want to harm G Money, but he wanted to scare the shit out of him. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. It's not personal. It's business.
But he is in the business of programming your stuff. Hello.
Yeah.
He's
And you
supposed to
only need
program
one
with one hand now?
Yes, absolutely. You only need one hand to do it.
Not smart.
I mean, I probably wouldn't have done it.
I would hope
But but I do understand the thought process of it being done. So, not that I condone it, but yeah. So, yeah, but this scene is a very iconic scene. This is where you get the famous quote, "Sit your $5 ass down before I make change."
Yeah.
Yeah. This
Definitely heard that before.
yes, and this scene was hilariously portrayed on an episode of Martin that I still laugh at to this day. That episode's probably like 30 years old at this point, but I still
they
laugh
all
at
are.
it. Yeah. So yeah. So fast forward to the aftermath of this wedding gunfight.
Wedding
Now because now he's at his house and he's just like WTF. And not only is he like WTF, but his girlfriend is there going off on him. You kill people. So yeah.
You kill too many people. And then he like throws her down and pours champagne on her. And he's like,
and said cancel that bitch. So
I'll buy me another one. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not the best light for Nino. Yeah. It was not as good.
He's a total narcissist.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely wasn't his good day. But
Even from the beginning, like in the very, very beginning, where when G Money's telling him, "Hey, we got this new product on the street. I kind of been selling it, basically doing product research, right?"
right.
And he gets mad at him for doing it.
Yeah, because
When
Nino
G Money's whole thing was like, "Well, if it's a failure, I didn't want to bother you with it,
right.
but it's a success, so that's why I'm telling you."
Right. Because he could have completely kept that on the side.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Which he did try to do later on around this time with Scotty being a part of the organization.
Right. Because now he's working for the cops. So
Right. Right. So G Money did.
and
Right. So G Money did try to do a side deal with Scotty. Um, Scotty told Nino. So yeah, that gets played up here. Because now the organization has completely blown up. He's gonna have to go into hiding. And yeah, he goes and makes a visit to where G Money is. And G Money know he's coming or what have you because he know his day is about to come.
mm-hmm.
So they have this conversation on the roof of this building, and yeah, in this conversation, it because of the betrayal that G Money did to Nino. Nino is hurt. It's no
Oh,
longer.
now Nino hurt. Now Nino upset.
Yeah.
Nino
Yeah.
out here talking about, "Oh, you Kane." Like he's able?
Mm-hmm.
Sir.
I know, right? I know.
And then he was with like, and he talks to him about, "You were with my girl," whatever. He's like, "Oh, that old skeezer, blah, blah, blah." He's
Right.
still with
Like
her
you really mad.
afterwards.
Right. Right. Like you really mad about her. Like you ain't supposed to let that come between us, you
Right,
know?
right, right. Like I mean, I said you were my brother and we were family, whatever, and then I immediately started sleeping with your girl. But why are you mad?
Right. Like she's
What?
so skeezer. Like,
Gaslighting the heck out of him.
oh
Are you
yeah, he
kidding?
gaslights the shit out of people. Yeah, he makes shit that is clearly his fault, everybody else's fault.
Right.
So so in this conversation, I mean, but he is really hurt. His feelings are really hurt, especially because what he has to do. And
His feelings aren't really hurt. His
I
pride
feel
is
like
hurt.
I feel like his
No.
feelings are hurt because he's crying. Nino ain't the person that you would think would shed a tear or even have tear ducts. You know,
Oh yeah, it may have been real difficult for him, but I don't think he really feels that bad. I really don't.
I think he do. I think that was really his brother.
Yeah, maybe. But he don't feel really that bad about it.
He don't feel bad enough to not do it.
And to not still be with his girl in the next scene.
Yeah, but she's a skeezer. Who cares about her?
Oh, right. But I'm just gonna keep her around even though I just killed my brother that that you were dating. Sure. Okay. I it.
Yeah, but he was just fucking her. That's all.
No, no. Stop defending this man.
I'm just saying. I understand. I'm not condoning, but I understand.
I do not. He does not. This is the thing. That's why I'm like, he doesn't really have the feelings you would expect somebody. He's a narcissist and possibly a psychopath.
Especially considering the week we just had talking about psychos.
No, listen.
Yeah. But yeah. I mean, he got a lot of tendencies for that, But I do feel like this was painful. If he never cared about killing nobody else, I think he cared about killing G Money. That was
The
his.
way I saw it was like he was really sad that G Money would no longer be useful to him. So he had to kill him.
But I feel like that was like the one person that he felt like would never betray him. I felt like
Yeah,
that.
but that doesn't mean he actually cares about him just because he feels like you may never betray him.
Huh?
That just means he thinks you're the most under his thumb.
I don't think it was. I think it was more than that. I feel like they
Mm-mm.
really had a love for one another. Um, I mean, it wasn't enough for him not to sleep with old girl, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But I feel like that wasn't even the first time, and it's never been a big deal. But it was just something about this girl with her dang near non-existent bangs that just really had them going.
No, it's not her. It's Nino.
Isn't he now? I don't know. I don't know because what we didn't really get too much time with her to see her really put a wedge between the two.
She didn't. Nino chose to do that.
But what I'm saying is that I feel like this ain't the first time that they've smashed behind one another.
Well, we get it. We
But
don't
what
know.
is, yeah, we
Well,
don't know.
apparently, there. Even if it was that was the case, it was still clearly troubling G Money, and he told Nino this, and Nino told him, "Why you care?"
Yeah,
Which
right,
tells G
right.
Money,
Because I
your
would like
feelings
that
are
too.
not important to me.
But I would question it as well because remember when they were in the club and Nino had brought G Money over to talk about her after he was basically mesmerized by her, and he asked what the deal was, and G Money was just like, yeah, I hit her, but I haven't spent no time with her to get to know her. I got to spend some more time with her. So he practically did not know this girl. You know what I'm saying? So what is it about this girl that could cause a wedge
It
between?
doesn't matter what it is about her, because if you see the reaction on your friend's face after you're, messing around with this girl, and you still continue messing around with this girl,
But he played it like it was nothing
he knew it was
when he
nothing. And he
initially,
also had a girl himself.
right. He shouldn't have touched her not one bit because of that fact alone, you know. But the way that G Money played it was just like, yeah, I hit her, but I don't really know
He
her that
was he was
well.
clearly upset when they were all at his place afterwards.
True, true, 100%. So Nino should have picked up on that and left
Yes.
it alone.
We're supposed to be brothers.
Right, but
You know when I'm
don't
upset.
portray that shit to me like it ain't nothing either.
But you also have a girl
This is
that
also
at which
very
point you've
true.
had for several years.
This is very true.
So no. Nino does not care about his feelings.
I think he does to a certain extent, not enough to change his behavior.
Then that's not enough.
Yeah, it's not enough, but I still think he does nonetheless. And I
No,
really do think it hurt him. I really do
I don't.
because he's not a crier. He's not a crier. So
He
yeah,
cried 2 tears and then went right back to the
he
man who
cried
killed girl.
four. He cried 4 tears.
And then
Two.
went right back to the girl. Please, please.
Well,
You
I
don't really
mean,
care.
she needed to make him feel better.
No, she did. She did not care about that man.
I think he did, but
No.
yeah, but I mean, shit.
Maybe he thought he did, but in reality, he did not.
Yeah, but in the same breath, G Money was fucking up.
Yeah, G Money was fucking up, but G Money was only started fucking up because Nina was betraying him with this girl that he liked. That's when
I
he
don't think
started
it
doing
was
the drug.
just because of that. I
No,
think
that's
it
what
was
it
more
was.
because of the Carter blowing up.
Well, that probably that too. But like Nino's behavior did not help him at all.
No, it didn't help. It
He
didn't help.
felt betrayed and alone because of what Nino was doing with this girl, and he gets on the drugs.
I think it's more the Carter blowing up.
Well, I mean, it can be both, is what I'm
It
saying.
can, it can, it can. But they're putting. But my thing is, they're maybe this is in the director's cut too, because they're putting so much emphasis on this girl, and we saw her like 3 times. We don't. I don't even know the girl name. I don't even care to know the girl name. But what was it about this girl? Like she ate.
It wasn't about the girl.
I feel like
It's about the relationship between Nino and G Money. And that's probably, her name was Uniqua. Yeah, they did say it. I
Oh
remember
yeah, they
that.
did. They did. You know what was so weird about Uniqua?
What's that?
I don't know what nationality she is.
She looked
Because
like
one time she was talking black. Well,
talking black.
sounding like she was black. And then one time she had a Hispanic accent. It
Did
was
she?
weird. Yeah, like when that scene when she got up and was taking her clothes off dancing. When she first started talking in that scene, it sounded like she had a Hispanic accent.
I didn't notice
I was
that, but
like,
it
is she
says
Dominican? Like,
Wikipedia says she's American. So
yeah. It was weird. Maybe because they were watching Scarface, maybe she just put
she
that.
may have been. She may have been imitating Scarface.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
that's what it was. Okay. But I
yeah.
was like,
Scarface shows up a couple of times in this movie.
yeah, yeah. Um, that was weird. That was stupid. But anyway, um, yeah, so yeah. So Nino kills G Money on the roof. And that was
Yeah.
sad. Shot him
Um,
right in the head.
yeah, and that's a very popular meme I've seen with with him holding the gun, like the tears in his face.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, it
I've
is.
seen that typically. It was this post that actually went viral, where this guy was like, when the race war comes and I have to kill Tony Hawk."
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Absolutely. I remember that. And I think Tony retweeted and was like, well, at least you thought about it or
yeah,
something.
he did.
But yeah. But I mean that in real life, yes. I would feel bad if I had to off Tony Hawk in the race war. I would have that tear. Because Tony
Right,
so awesome and very unproblematic.
right.
Like
All he does is skate.
right, right. And just live his life. That's it.
Right,
And
that's
makes
it. Make video
ridiculous
games.
amount of money.
Right.
So yeah. That's funny. Um yeah. Oh, what was I about to say? There was a part. Uh,
He kills G Money.
oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so the part that we're missing right before that. Okay, so the part that we're missing was that they was about to do a drug deal, and Scotty was at the drug deal, of course,
Yeah, they're
and
about to do it with Scotty.
Christopher Williams was present when Pookie got shot at the beginning of the movie.
Hmm.
So fast forward years later,
Why they have him at the drug deal?
oh, that's a great question. Maybe he
Like,
got promoted. I don't know.
after
But
he stabbed him in the hand.
yeah. But he kept saying, I know that dude. When Scotty first started coming around, Christopher Williams, Kareem, when Scotty first started coming around, Kareem was saying, I know that dude from somewhere. It didn't dawn on him until the drug deal,
Mm-hmm.
which was so crazy. So when he was like, man, that's 5-0, that's when everything shut down. They had this big old um, gunfight in a warehouse, and the detectives came in and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, so that was another situation that blew up. So that was the reason why G Money was killed. Ultimately was killed. So yeah. So now because the cover is blown, he's about to make this deal. Nino's on the run. So he's
Mm-hmm.
hiding in this apartment building. And he feels like because he has quote unquote done good for the community, that the community is going to have his back in regards to keeping him a secret being in
Right.
the building. So,
Little does he know,
yeah, right.
they hate his ass.
They hate him, right. And initially they're like, man, I'm not telling you nothing because Scotty is like, sure, where does Nino live? Oh man, he bought my basketball team all new sneakers. I'm not telling you Jack. Then one of them was like, I seen him beat my friend and blah blah blah. I hope y'all get his ass, blah blah blah. So they low key hate him, but they save face. So they end up finding the apartment that Nino is in, and they pull him out of the apartment. Nino and Scotty have this huge fight where Scotty beats the entire life out of him. Whew, he beat the hell out of him. I don't see how he survived that, but he did, to the point where
She killed his mama.
Yeah, to the point where he was about to shoot him in broad daylight on the sidewalk in front of everybody in the neighborhood, and had to be talked down from it. The police had came and
Good. Oh, because what he says is, I want to shoot you so bad, my dick is hard right now. I was like, oh
right.
my God.
That's that's pretty insane.
It's
That,
really intense.
yeah, yeah. I don't know how that operates because I don't have one, but it it has to
Same,
be pretty
same.
insane.
It's like, oh wow, all right.
Right.
Jeez.
Right. And it's even more insane to make it a line in a movie.
And then there's somebody in the back who's like, give me the gun, I'll shoot him.
Right, right.
All right.
Can't stand his ass, right?
They're tired.
Yes, yes, they were over it.
Already
Okay.
know.
So so they ended up arresting him and whatnot. Then they ended up having a trial. In the trial, Nino takes the stand and they asked him straight up, was he the head of the CMB organization? He says, I was a member. The head is that gentleman over there, which he pointed to Kareem, and was just like, I was just part of it. I'm not going down by myself. I'm taking everybody down. Causes an uproar in the courtroom or whatever. And his lawyers go and talk to Nino first, and then they go over to the prosecution side and talk to them, and then they approach the bench. Once it got done, he ended up pleading guilty to a lesser charge, and he got 3 years with possibility of getting out after a year.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
everybody was pissed.
he makes some notes on the stand, well, not notes, but he's basically testifying from the stand. Like, this is some of the most ridiculous courtroom like I've seen on TV.
Right, right.
But he brings up some of the points that were brought up by the very intro of the movie of like systemic things happening that create these conditions that allow somebody like him to thrive in this type of business. And
Yeah.
I
It's bigger
appreciate
than
that a
me.
lot because
Yeah.
there's a lot in the movie. You're doing this to your own community, stuff like that, which is like giving black on black crime, which is not a
Right.
thing. So
And not at all.
I do appreciate them also bringing up like these structural macro conditions.
Right, right. And which are extremely valid points that people don't like to acknowledge. That we are not the ones that are supplying ourselves with the product, nor the ammunition or guns or anything like that. So it's like we can't do this to ourselves. That we're just a piece of the puzzle.
By ourselves, right?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah. In his rant, he does bring that up, absolutely. But yeah, so yeah, he gets the lesser charge or whatnot, and people are upset,
They are
but
mad.
yeah, it is what it is. That's how the court system works, especially when you got the coin. So, yeah, so he leaves in handcuffs, of course, because he's going to jail for that year. And outside of the courtroom in the lobby where the stairs are, we are revisited by the one guy that the older guy that tried to kill him in his club.
Yes. Oh, his name is Old Man.
Old man.
He's played by Bill Cobbs.
Yeah.
And I recognize him immediately because Bill Cobbs has been in like so much. He's been working in Hollywood since like 1974.
Yes. Yes.
With like his credits go all the way up to 2022. So,
he's still alive.
Yes, he's still alive. He's still
When
alive.
And today I was like, no, he did.
No, he's 89 years old. I mean, he's 89 years old, so it's not an unreasonable guess.
Right, right.
But he's been in a lot of things that everybody's seen. So The Taking of Pelham, 1, 2, 3, The Outer Limits, I'll Fly Away. I used to love that show. 6 Feet Under, Drew Carey show, Star Trek Enterprise, Night at the Museum, Ghosts of Mississippi. Like, you've definitely seen him. That Thing You Do, Oz the Great and Powerful, He was even in the Agents of Shield show. So like
Mm. He's working.
he works.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. That's awesome. Cause our show was like, I know he did. I ain't even gonna look it up. I know he
He's
did.
alive.
He's
Yes.
alive and working. I
Mm-hmm.
heard that. So yeah, so he says that he has a line that says that devil is requesting you or something like that.
Oh
And
no. He had a really great line.
yeah.
And he keeps calling he was calling Nino an idolater. That he's idolizing all these things that are, ills to the community and stuff like that. Um,
Hmm.
particularly like money. He idolizes money, basically.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
he says to
Motivation.
him, he says, "Your soul is required in hell."
Mm, that's what it
I was like,
is.
"Ooh, such a great line."
That's a bar. That's a
Yeah.
bar. Yeah.
I was like, I
And
can see that being said by like Candyman or something, right?
right, right. Or two Candyman when he summons back. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so he pulls out the gun in front of everybody and shoots Nino square in the chest. And
Mhm.
when he shoots him, he immediately kills him and he falls over because he was on steps that had a middle part. And he folds over the middle part and falls all the way down to the
Yeah, he
floor.
falls over the banister and just like head
Yeah.
like hits the concrete.
Yeah, yeah. And it
Yeah.
was like, oh, he was like a couple floors up. So yeah. And that is the last shot of us looking down the stairs at him
Mhm.
laid out dead. And of course they arrested old man.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Committed murder in the courthouse. So
Yeah, I mean kinda gotta arrest him for that
gotta
one.
arrest him now, right?
Yeah. Whether he does time, they might I don't know.
Who knows, right?
Yeah. But yeah. So that is New Jack City.
New
So
Jack City. Mhm.
how did you feel about it?
It was really good. I thought it was
Yeah.
really well done.
Yeah.
All the
Um,
performances were excellent. I
was it?
love, of course, like they really give it that place and time as
Mhm.
far as like costuming and stuff like that is concerned. Like it's very of the time, which
Yeah.
I like a lot. But yeah, and they also had like a little epilogue talking about like the crack epidemic and decisive action must be taken and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, again, I do really appreciate they didn't make it like this whole black people are just inherently criminal and they're just gonna destroy their communities because of whatever. Then like they
Mhm.
actually point to extenuating and outside circumstances and influences and the whole thing of like, well, we're not growing it ourselves, so how do we even get it? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So
Right.
I really like they bring that up too, showing that it's not just some kind of just personal or pathological problem.
Right. Right. Um, Mario Van Peebles was the director.
Oh, really? He did a great job. Yeah,
Yep.
I was looking, it was like $8 million, but they made 47.6 million.
Yeah.
It was like the most successful independent movie of the year, of course, because
Mhm.
that's wild. But
Yeah. Yeah. It it was huge. Which is so wild because around that time, Wesley Snipes was a pretty big deal because not only was this out, but I think Jungle Fever came out in '91 too.
very soon, yeah.
Yeah, I want to say.
They're very
Um,
close together.
yeah, let me see. And that was a huge movie.
Mhm.
Uh, when did that come out? Yeah, it came out. It came out on my sister's birthday, June 7, 1991.
There you go.
Yeah, so and that was a big deal. I remember going to the movies to see Jungle Fever.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so New Jack City came out in March of '91, and then um, Jungle Fever came out in June of '91.
Mhm.
So, like he was a big deal. He was a
Oh,
big
yeah.
deal. Snipes, yeah.
And then
Uh,
after that, of course, he did Blade, which made him into an even bigger deal.
right, right. But he did Passenger 57. I
Mm-hmm.
think that came out in 92. So like, Wesley Snipes was a big deal. Like Wesley Snipes is awesome. You
Yes.
can never take that away from Wesley Snipes. I don't care what you think about him personally. You can never take that away that he's not a humongous.
And he's got range because he was
Yeah,
also into Wong Fu. Thanks for everything.
yes. He did Demolition Man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all of those came out within the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I think Blade was like 96, 97, something like that.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, um, and he's just an awesome actor. Like,
Yeah.
and I still to this day love to see him in new stuff. Like he was in that series that he did with Kevin Hart on Netflix. Did you watch that?
No, I don't
It was
find
so,
Kevin Hart funny. So.
it's not comedy. It
Oh,
was
it's
so
not.
mm-mm. It was so good. When I tell you Wesley Snipes stole the show, it is so freaking good.
He's a good actor, so that's
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Like, let me see. Let me see what it's called. I forgot what it's called. Let's see. True Story. That's what it's called. True Story.
No, I
And,
hadn't even heard of that. Yeah.
yeah, it's a series on Netflix. It came out in like 21, maybe
Mm-hmm.
22. No, 21. It came out in 21. And yeah, it's really good. I recommend that to anybody. But yeah, he's a comedian, but it's not funny.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just his occupation. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Um,
I had not even heard of this at all. Wow. Okay.
yeah, yeah, it's good. It's so good. And like I said, Wesley Snipes stole the show, you know. And Kevin Hart does good in drama. He does good in drama. Like it, some actors, some comedians do good in drama. Because I can say that
Yeah.
about Chris Rock too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
100%. A lot of actors do good in drama.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. A lot
So
of comic actors
right, right.
do good in drama. Yeah.
So yeah, I would recommend that to anybody. But yeah. So um, Alan Payne, of course.
He's been in so much.
He's been in a lot. Um,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the 90s. Like we know him in recent years because of House of Pain, but in the 90s was his decade. He was in a lot of shit in the 90s. So
Mm-hmm.
and them two together, they really did a good job with G Money and So um and then I think if I'm not mistaken, this was Ice-T's first acting role.
That
Um
sounds right.
yeah. And I want to say this was Mario Van Peebles' first directing role.
Probably. I mean, considering it was only 8 million.
Hmm. Yeah, and they did a very good job. I love some of the shots that they did.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like it really some of the shots like really came across, made us feel what like you could feel because of the shots what they were trying to convey.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like say for instance, when G Money was at the basketball court when he was doing the when he did the shot for the money at the beginning of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
the way that they came up on him from the bottom to show him looking like larger than life, because at that point he was kind of larger than life, and Alan Payne is a short guy,
Yeah.
so they had to portray a certain type of way, so I really like that they did that like that. Then I liked the first shot when they were hanging the guy over the
The
over the bridge.
bridge.
Yeah, yeah, and they gave you that perspective that like this is like huge.
Yeah.
Cause just
You
hanging
get that
somebody
feeling
over
in
a
your stomach,
bridge,
like, ooh.
right. Cause like just hanging somebody over your stump over a bridge with a close shot It didn't seem like it would be that bad. But that big shot,
Yeah.
this is a problem, to say the least.
Because you can see the entire situation.
Yes, yes. So yeah, yeah. Just some of the shots in this film, I really like.
Hmm.
You can tell that he really paid attention to certain things that he wanted to convey. So that was pretty dope. Um, but yeah, yeah. This is like a hood classic.
Yeah, for sure. I can see
Yeah.
why.
hmm Now, when you were watching the film, did you know that Martin scene was from New Jack City?
I don't really remember that Martin scene, so
Oh, you don't? Okay.
no. I watched Martin when it was on,
Uh-huh.
um, but kind of lost track of it after that, so I don't really remember a whole bunch of it.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I was obsessed. I taped it every week.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I don't have that
Yeah.
level of familiarity.
Yeah. I
I
have all
remember
these
like
tapes.
the characters and stuff like that.
hmm
Um, but I didn't remember that scene in particular.
hmm Yeah, I have all these tapes just for them to put it on DVD.
Hey, listen, save that physical media because you see they're out here taking stuff off of platforms. So,
Right. Right. Yeah. I do. I do still have
hmm
my tapes and my DVDs and stuff. And it's so funny. I have my tapes just to not have a VCR.
hey, we can go to Goodwill right now and correct that. That's no problem.
Yes, yes. I've been thinking about like just going ahead and going to get a VCR.
Hmm.
But I'm kind of scared
Scared of
because
what?
I don't want them to mess up my tapes. Like you know how like them VCRs can be. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I I
Well,
would
get it. Use a tape you don't care about
right. Right, to test it out, of course,
to
but
test it out. Yeah.
you get to watching it, and then next thing you know, been and ate the tape, and I don't know. I've also thought about like having it converted. So
Well, there you go. That's a good one.
hmm yeah, but yeah. So yeah. Can you see this being remade? Oh, before you even answer that, it was remade. It was a stage play.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, but they have been talking about like a reboot,
I
and they
remember when this like was
are.
coming out because New
Yeah.
Jack City live on stage is like what?
Yeah.
Like,
And Alan Payne played G Money on stage.
oh wow,
Flex and Alexander played
Pookie.
Bookie, and
Stretch played
Stretch
Nino Brown.
played Nino. Now I don't
Wow.
know who Big Daddy Kane played.
Stone. So Detective Stone.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
And to be for real, I would have put Big Daddy Kane as Nino.
Hmm.
I That's what I initially thought until I
Hmm.
found Stretch played Nino.
But apparently it was pretty successful. So.
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty successful. It didn't come here. I think it went to St. Louis though, but it
Hmm.
didn't come to Kansas City. But but yeah, I didn't know about it till right after they left St. Louis. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, I would have went. So, but
Yeah, I
just
could definitely
cause,
see this being like remade for sure.
yeah, I saw some art, some I believe it's fan art, with it being remade into a series for Netflix with Mahershala Ali.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like,
That's
okay,
funny because Mahershala Ali is about to play Blade.
right. So is he the second coming of Wesley Snipes? Even though
I
Wesley
guess
Snipes
so.
is still here,
He's our
right?
favorite dark-skinned black man in Hollywood at the moment, I
I
guess.
guess so.
That was the other thing with this movie is there was definitely that whole colorism thing with Ice-T and Wesley Snipes. Was Ice-T supposed to be the good guy cop, and Wesley
hmm
Snipes is the bad drug dealer.
hmm Yeah, and did
Even
you?
though what's funny is like the
hmm
cops are not effective in this movie, like
The
at
cops are
all.
what?
They're not effective.
I don't know. Excuse me.
Nope.
No, nobody. No, nobody that's supposed to be on the right side. side is effective.
Mm-mm.
Did you notice that the attorneys,
Mm-hmm.
all the attorneys on the prosecution were black, all the attorneys that were on the defense were white?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And wearing bow ties.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Right. So these high
Well,
power
not all the
figures.
attorneys on the prosecution, because the attorney that we got introduced to, who was a black woman, she wasn't the lead attorney on the case, it seems like, because in the
But
courtroom,
the lead was black though.
well, she wasn't the lead attorney on the case.
Right.
Because like in the courtroom when they have that little kind of like sidebar where all the attorneys are talking, and they give him that sentence of 3 years with the parole after a year or whatever, and Ice-T is upset about it. He says something to her, but she's like, the guy she's sitting next to, who's the lead attorney, she's like that
Right.
he wanted to go with it.
And he's black.
He was white.
No, he was black.
I
Go
don't
back.
recall him
Look,
being
he was
white.
black. Nope,
Okay.
he was black. Yep, that's what I was saying. Like I think they may have had like a woman on the prosecution side that wasn't black, but yeah, the woman that we were introduced to and the lead attorney, they were both black.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, I was just like, yep, I know where they're going with this. And then, I just saw just now the screenwriter was white.
Who?
The screenwriter,
Which, because it was co-written, so
the this or the story, Thomas Lee Wright.
okay.
Yeah, I was like, okay, that was kind of for me. That was kind of surprising because he got it. He got it right.
Well, we do have Mario Van Peebles, like, again, being the
Mhm.
director, so I'm betting there are a lot more voices of color behind the screen to
Yeah,
make sure things weren't wonky.
yeah, that's true too. That's true too. So yeah, so let's get into our rating system. So we have one movie real trash AF, two it exists, three entertaining, four great, five a true classic. Maria, what say you?
I think I would give this a 5.
Five.
Hmm.
I'm glad to hear that. So why would you give it a five?
It was really well done. It was a really well done film. Everybody's giving their best performances, even the people who aren't really known as actors that much. Ice-T.
Mhm.
Like,
Right, right, right.
um, the story was compelling and well written, and uh, yeah, I mean the soundtrack was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And it left such an impression on so many people. Like, the reason for one, Cash Money Records is named that is because of this movie.
Yeah.
Like, so it's very much left a stamp on popular consciousness. So I think that's really important.
Mm.
And Mario Van Peebles just did a really excellent job.
Yeah.
He really did.
Yeah. All right. Um,
What would you give it?
I would give it I would give it a four.
Hmm.
For basically the same reasons you gave it a five. I just feel like maybe we need to see the director's cut.
Is there a director's cut? You keep
I don't
saying
know.
so.
I don't know. I'm just saying it, but
Oh, okay. I was
yeah.
about to say, because I'm gonna find it if there is one.
Yeah. That would be pretty awesome if there was a director's cut.
Hmm.
Um,
I mean, they
but
named the whole genre of New Jack Swing after this movie.
yeah, New
Right?
Jack Swing was huge back then.
Mhm.
And Teddy Riley was in the movie too, so yeah.
And like
Um,
you said, the Carter after Lil Wayne and everything. Like,
mhm.
so,
Yeah. This movie is a definitely a cultural phenomenon.
yeah.
Um, and they still play it on TV to this day.
Hmm.
It aged extremely well,
Hmm.
considering it is 91, but it doesn't look dated or anything like that, like outside of like the fashion and stuff like that. But it looks real good.
It looks
So
really
there's some
good.
things Yeah, because there's some things that just look horrible. Hell, that
Yes.
came out 10 years ago and it looked horrible. So
Yeah.
yeah. Then and then the shots. Like I just love what he did with those shots.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think he made a really good story about a very specific time and place, about a very specific thing that was happening.
mhm.
Again, I love that they didn't just like try to blame it on black people,
Right, right.
stuff like that. So that those are all reasons why I would give it that kind of the classic rating. So, but we
Mhm.
were talking about you giving it a great rating. So,
Yeah. No, I totally get why you would give it a classic.
mhm.
I just my whole hang up is the whole girl situation.
How do you
Cause
mean?
because it just really did not make sense to me that this girl that you barely even know, it'd be different if Nino smashed a girl that he had been like with for like a year and always talked about he was just completely smitten. But he was just like, "Oh, I smashed her, but I don't know her. I still need to get to know her."
That was
And
what G
now
Money
he's dead.
said. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, maybe stuff was on the cutting room floor. I don't know.
Well, there's the whole thing with well, she said, "You want a son, for the imp," and of course he does, because he's a narcissist. So his son would be
Mhm.
just an extension of him, another way to, expand his control throughout generations. So that's what it was really about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get it, but I don't
It has
know.
nothing to do with her specifically. She
Hmm.
could have been any girl.
She could have been any girl, but she wasn't.
She was. She was any girl.
I don't think.
Especially after she said, "I can give you a son." That's when he locked in really. At first, he's really just attracted to her. When she said that, oh, it was over. He threw off his old girl immediately
Yeah, but how does she even know that that's something that he wants?
because
It's something that he
G
can't get
Money
from old
told
girl.
her. G Money
Right.
told her
But then in the same breath, he said that he just smashed her. He got to get to know her. But that ain't really the truth.
because he's playing it cool.
But I guess that's a whole nother topic because dudes be trying to play off their real feelings with females.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So, yeah.
Especially in front of other dudes that they admire. So,
Right, right, right. So, I don't know.
yeah, I would not expect
The
him to be like,
way
"I
they
love this girl
portrayed that,
down."
yeah.
No.
Right, right, right. But the way they portrayed it to us and the way that it actually happened, I feel like there's just a scene that we're missing.
I feel like the only scene we're missing is Nino expressing his desire for children.
Yeah. So two scenes then.
Yeah, because like his desire for children and the fact that the woman he was with for all of these years could
Hmm.
not have children was only brought up like immediately in reference to this girl. Had there been
Right.
like some other scenes where they had kind of said anything about this, then yes. But again,
Right.
it doesn't really, the girl is not important. It could have been any girl as long as she had said that. And it was, he also doesn't like the fact that G Money has this girl. He doesn't want G Money worrying or loving anybody else but him.
Mm. So this girl is kind of like taking his mind away from the business or from him ultimately.
Yeah, he doesn't, he can't, he doesn't want that.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Because I mean, like, it didn't make sense. Like, why would you be pillow talking about her infertility?
Who knows?
Yeah, it's weird.
Who
It's
knows?
very weird.
How
So
that came up in conversation, I don't know.
yeah, like, and she just gonna just say it.
It could have
I
been
guess,
like, "Oh, you don't have any kids?" Well, no. Does Nino have any kids? Well, no. His girl can't have kids, or who knows? Like,
but
I don't know.
I mean, I guess, yeah, that would have been grounds to get your ass whooped. You say that to me in front of my man, and we've been trying.
Hmm.
Mm,
I think she was exhausted. Like I
yeah,
said,
she probably was happy that she couldn't.
yeah.
So, but yeah, so that is New Jack City. So, what are
Hmm.
we watching next week?
Well, next week we're gonna continue our trek to Mordor with Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers.
All right.
It's available on HBO Max or
Yeah.
Disney Max, whatever. But yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, where can we find you?
You can find me pretty much anywhere. And if I'm there, you're going to find me at Valor More Dollars, VALARMOR Dollars. I also have a podcast with 6 other Black ladies where we talk geek, nerd, tech stuff called Nerdgasm Noir. So you can check me out there too. And where can they find you, Lindsay?
You can find me everywhere at L_Renelle. That's L_RANELLE. And also on my other podcast, The Ish We Talk, where me and my cousin talk about various topics.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Pop culture, hot topics, news topics, all kinds of topics.
All kinds, all the above. This past episode we talked about who the fuck did I marry?
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that was horrible. All right. All right. So this was episode 50 of Roomies Review the Movies.
Yes.
And we will see you guys for episode 51.
Bye.
Bye.
Mm-hmm.